is waste reduction, reuse and recycle, and recovery. My presentation might be slightly overlapping a little bit of the previous presentations, but I'll try to sort of focus a little bit on the green technology concepts. And if you look at it, any industry, I'll start first from the industry sector. We have raw material input, and you have a production process, and end of this production process, we get a product in industry. Okay? And you know the second law of thermodynamics, you cannot have an 100% conversion, and every production process there will be a waste. And the waste can could be a waste energy, or the solid waste, the effluent, or air pollution. Okay. Now the focus of my presentation is how we could this multimedia type of waste, waste comes in a different media, how we could reduce them, okay, at the production process. I will not focus on energy part. I think Dr. Mohanty nicely covered with a lot of examples, so I will focus on the other three parts. And the focus again, looking at it, how we could do waste reduction, reuse and recycle. To start with, let's talk a little bit about sustainable production. And if you listen to today's morning first lecture by Dr. Moda, we talk about two issues, sustainable production and sustainable consumption. He gave a nice example of washing machine. Okay? The consumption stage of a washing machine uses a large amount of resources. Okay? And the focus here is, we talk about sustainable production, is basically a creation of goods and services in which we will have a production process or system which is non-polluting, reducing the water energy consumptions, economically viable, safe and healthy working environment. We talk about occupational health and safety issues, and it's also important having a socially and creatively rewarding for all people. Today we talk about that's what we want in sustainable production, and which can be done with 2 or 3 main issues. And we also started with product design. Started with the first example of toothbrush. I think I will be continued later onwards, afternoon session, one by Dr. Modak, so I will not go into that. And it's also as important consumer engagement. How do you produce? It's also as important that sustainable production and sustainable consumption. So that's why you need to educate people how you are to be. And that's why we said we are not going to give you bottled water here, because you need to believe the consumption. If you wanted to bottle water, and you need to keep on producing it. So sustainable production certainly goes with the sustainable consumption. And end of the use life cycle, I think again we talked about it, what do you do after a product has a life cycle, what are you going to do. With this, all 3 things comes into the sustainable production. I think in this context, you would have come across certain terminology. Cleaner production, it's a terminology, in fact, originally coined by United Nations Environmental Program in 1989, which talks about of how you could make the production process cleaner. Okay, what today we are calling about greener. Okay. And it's important today, the promotion of cleaner production to a large extent driven by developing green technology. We talked about it, that James example, okay, from 90 liters to how to bring it to 6 liters of water consumption. These are involved in technology. But when you talk about cleaner production, please understand cleaner production also is involved in different stages, like say what we call how you run or how do you maintain your industry housekeeping. Okay. How do you optimize a particular process? I think we know every process has to set the optimum condition which has the best efficiency. Raw material substitution, new technology and new product designs. And I'll try to give you a few examples and snapshots on each of that in an industry so that you will understand that. But what is more important here is when you look at it, cleaner production or sustainable production, okay, doesn't depend only on technology. Although here we are emphasizing on green technology. Yes, that certainly helps us. But it's not only the technology, you also have to look at it other simple options. Okay? starting with how do you use resources, how much water you consume, okay, and looking at the housekeeping, and look at recycling and reuse within the thing. Okay. And then you look at material substitution, the equipment change or changing the total technology, or what you call the greener technology. From an engineering point of view comes the last option. Okay. But it's important, as we have a simple options which are to a large extent policy and management issues, that plays an important role. So you cannot introduce a very highly sophisticated technology before crossing the lower path. It's important. And of course these management strategies or management practices, or we could call it as a policy issues, cost you much lesser cost. Okay. So please understand, green technology, which is a technology-driven approach, also has the management approach. We need to look into that. Okay, I'll just give you one or two examples, simple management options in many industries. If you look at it, housekeeping, a very classic example, if you go to a textile industry, where the dyes are kept, you can see how the dyes are kept. The spills of dyes, eventually you're losing the resources. At the same time, when the dyes are washed away, you are creating a water pollution. Okay, so you have to be, it's very easy to manage this, okay, rather than investing on a very highly sophisticated technology. So it's important, housekeeping plays a very important role. Okay. Raw material storage facilities and how do you maintain, which becomes more of a management and operational issue. And we can talk about raw material substitutions. There are hundreds of examples. Okay. I think a nice example Dr. Mohanty gave today morning is related to construction industry. We do not like to use anymore bentonite because bentonite is considered a bit of hazardous, okay, at least in European Union. And there's a replacement materials which produces a better product, might be slightly expensive, but if you look at overall efficiency and the cost, the substitution materials have becomes very important. In my example, I've given you a very classic thing. I'm picking up a very typical example of electroplating. And when you do an electroplating with the chromium, usually we use an hexavalent chromium, which is very good product, fits you, but extremely polluting wastewater. And the wastewater becomes very complex to treat. So that can be replaced by a trivalent chromium. It's a complicated technology, okay, but it will produce almost the same final product, but less pollution. Okay. So sometimes by changing the raw materials, okay, well, it's good to play around the pollution issues, but please understand, even when you do change the product, raw material, the final quality of the product has to remain the same.